What if I told you you could make RuneScape money passively without even being logged in? Well, in this video we're going to be talking about some truly passive money makers, so whenever you're ready, grab your cup of tea, sit back, relax, and enjoy. For RuneScape guides, content, and news, be sure to subscribe. The first method we're going to talk about is growing animals for produce to then sell for big profits. This is by far one of the easiest and most consistent ways of making RuneScape GP passively, given that you focus on animals that have large profit margins. Sadly, the majority of player-owned farm animals make for terrible money makers that make you little money and require you to visit the player-owned farm often, which in my eyes is the opposite of passive, because we want to do as little work as possible and make as much GP as possible. The only player-owned farm animal that currently fits that description is the female Fremennik yak, which requires level 71 farming and level 60 construction. Moving to the ranch at a time, there's two different types of dinosaurs we can grow for a profit, being the Apoterasaurs requiring level 98 farming and level 90 construction, and the Rexes, which require 106 farming and above and level 90 construction. After level 106 farming, you shouldn't be breeding Apoterasaurs any longer and instead do Rexes, as they provide up to 4 times more profit per animal. So how does this method work? Well, for starters, you're going to want to have your breeding pen and large pen unlocked plus built to actually place your animals in. Then proceed by buying a breeding pair for the animals you're going to use for produce and place them in your breeding pen. You can buy unchecked animals from the Grand Exchange or from other players. Now, this breeding pair will be your source of new animals, either baby or egg, to be self-sufficient, as depending on the animal, buying animals may be more expensive than the total produce itself, depending on the animal and the price you're paying for it. Now, every time your animals produce eggs or babies, you want to place these in a non-breeding pen to free up space in the breeding pen and let them grow all the way to elder. Now, before you ask, not even a T-Rex needs a single bit of protein to grow from egg all the way up to elder, because RuneScape logic. Now, it goes even further. You don't even need to feed the animals inside your breeding pen for them to breed. The only time an animal or dinosaur will not breed is if they're diseased. If they are diseased, just check one single body part and then try every cure possible to quickly cure them, or if you can remember what cure they need, simply use the cures on screen to cure them quickly. Now, while you don't need to feed your animals to breed them, you can increase the speed at which your animals breed by making sure the happiness and health is topped up. Specific animal traits such as joyful are favorable to keep your animals happy, but in case you don't have good perks on your breeding pair, simply feeding your animals is the best way of keeping them happy. You can instantly boost their health and happiness by using delicious or medicinal honeycombs, or by using strawberry or vanilla milk on them. Remember that you should only be doing this on your breeding pair, as happiness does not increase produce, so there's no point of feeding your additional animals unless you want that sweet farming experience. In which case, you should probably also be using farming urns when gathering your produce. Anyways, another way of increasing breed speed is by using elder rabbits, so fully grown rabbits, in a small player-owned farm pen, adding a farm totem to that pen and getting the like rabbits perk, which increases your breeding speed by 7% or 10% if you have 2 pens with elder rabbits and 2 totems. Another ability that shouldn't be overlooked is the ability for animals to breed, albeit a small chance, in non-breeding pens. The benefit being you obtaining more animals and produce per month. So how much money can you make from each animal? Well, the Fremennik yaks will provide you with 6 yak milk once elder, which will take about 17.2 hours and will result in a profit of 948,000 GP. The Arcane Apoterasaur will provide you with 120 beak snot, which will result in around 376k and will grow in 175.1 hours or 7.3 days. The Baghdad Rexes at level 106 farming will provide you with 150 dinosaur roars after 195.1 hours of growing, or 8.13 days. You're able to sell these at almost 1.7 million GP in total per animal in today's prices. Now, you're able to get more dinosaur roars and profit per hour by using the higher tiered Rexes. For example, the Curbicula Rexes will provide you with 195 dinosaur roars, or about 2.176 million GP, and the Pavosaurus Rex at level 118 farming will provide you with 255 dinosaur roars, which will be a grand total of 2.845 million GP. If you have a couple of these growing at the same time, or just 2 of them, you're making the easiest money you could ever make by literally just slapping them in a different pen, gathering the produce after about 8 days or more, and repeat. Another great way of making offline money is by using invention machines to your advantage. You can get started with machines as low as level 60 Invention, but the real profit comes from the higher leveled machine. These machines need to be built using certain components in addition to a generator which then needs to be charged using divine charges. One divine charge equals 3000 machine charge, and when machines are active and processing, they'll be using those charges in addition to extra items depending on the machine to function. Now, due to price volatility and or low profit margins, it's very hard for me to suggest any Invention machines other than the Auto Alker, also known as the Alchemizer Mark 1 and 2. The main difference between the Mark 2 and Mark 1 version is that the Mark 2 version processes 25 items per hour opposed to just 8, and only needs nature runes to actually alch in addition to machine charge, while the Mark 1 version also requires 5 fire runes per alch as well. Due to that additional cost of fire runes per alch, it's going to be very difficult to find profitable items using the Mark 1 version of this machine. Finding items that are profitable for the Mark 2 version at level 108 Invention though is a lot easier. When buying items from the Grand Exchange, you need to take into account that you're going to be spending the cost of 1 nature rune plus 0.002 of a divine charge's cost to actually alch that item. Why? Well, the machine uses 150 charge per 25 items, so 6 machine charge per item, or in other words 0.2% of a divine charge, as that thing provides 3000 machine charge. If you're able to find items that make you a profit even after subtracting that nature rune and divine charge cost, well, you're going to be making a lot of money per week and even per month. At 500 GP profit per item after subtracting nature rune and divine charge cost, you'd be making 300k GP per day. That doesn't sound like much, but that's 9 million GP per month. If you're making 1000 GP profit, that would be 18 million GP per month. The only downside here is that you're going to need to slow buy items that provide you with that much profit, and that does require a lot of capital. But once you do have that capital, you're going to be making the easiest passive offline money ever. Currently, the level 117 high capacity plank maker is also profitable when turning mahogany logs into mahogany planks at a rate of 40 items per hour, costing 15 machine charge per item. Currently, I'm making 567 profit per plank, as I'm able to sell these for quite a decent profit, being about 3.8 million GP per week. That being said, before you try this exact same method after this video, be sure to check the buy and sell prices of mahogany logs and mahogany planks and the cost of divine charges before you chuck in thousands of items, because there is a chance that the profitability has changed or altered heavily. Another way of making money currently is by using the Auto Disassembler or Auto Disassembler Mark 2, requiring level 60 or level 81 Invention respectively, to get simple parts to then use to make empty divine charges to then sell on the Grand Exchange. The only reason I wouldn't say this is a passive money maker is because you actually need to go ahead and craft those empty divine charges, which is much like a trading method. If interested in Invention machines, be sure to check the link in the description below for some useful calculators that can help direct you as to what items you should be auto-alching or disassembling. The final passive moneymaker we're going to be covering in this video is using the Grand Exchange to your advantage. How so? By simply slow buying items to then sell. And no, I don't mean flipping, because that actually has some risk attached to it, as items can crash in value suddenly due to an update or announcement or rise. I mean buying items slowly but surely to sell for a guaranteed profit by setting your price below the sell price to a specific general store or other store in Runescape. A great example could be buying rune arrows for below 153 GP and then selling those to a general store. Or by buying spirit shards for 24 GP, as I did just for this video. I bought 500,000 spirit shards for 24 GP, which I can instantly sell to the pickup stick store for 25 GP each, giving me 500k profit for doing absolutely nothing other than having an active Grand Exchange offer, which means this is also passive. So there you have it, 3 passive and or offline money makers which you can use to your advantage to make bank even when you're not actively playing. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it interesting. If you did, leave a like down below and maybe even consider subscribing, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.